welcome you to East Tennessee this evening for a battle of original USL League One squads. It is Chattanooga Red Wolves hosting Richmond Kickers in a key early season six-pointer. We say hello and welcome to CHI Memorial Stadium. Sam Goldfarb here, thrilled to bring you all of the action in this battle between sides that date back to the league's inaugural season. Well, for Chattanooga, a shaky start to the campaign. Just 2 wins in the opening 9 games, and that start was compounded by a difficult defeat away from home at Omaha last week, falling behind on 57 minutes, and then the league leaders powering this over the line through Alan Gavilanes on 82 minutes. Ultimately, a 2-0 victory for Omaha and another defeat for Chattanooga, their third in the last 4 league games. And going forward, it's been a little up and down so far, but Omar Hernandez has been the steady force. A trio of tallies. He is our player to watch, presented by WDEF News Channel 12. He's a set-piece specialist, but also someone who's incredibly creative. Top 10 in the league in chances created and is very dynamic on the counterattack. And if Chattanooga is to get anything from this fixture, you would fancy him to make noise on the break. Well, their opposite numbers in Richmond Kickers have been nothing short of tremendous of late. 3 consecutive league wins on the trot for the first time since 2022, and they capped off that feat with a 3-0 victory at Greenville Triumph on May 9th. Muji Murana powering them in front on 32 minutes, and then a pair of goals after the restart. Tarek Panholzer chipping a Mal Knight to double the lead on 70 minutes, and then after that, Landon Johnson wrapping up all 3 points with the dagger in the 78th. It was the first victory for Richmond Kickers in Greenville since March of 2023, a major result for the Kickers to continue their red-hot streak. Well, we are just about ready to get everything underway here in Chattanooga. It is the Red Wolves hoping for a key 3 points. Richmond seeking its first ever victory in Chattanooga. Stick with us. Lineups and kickoff next. We welcome you back to East Tennessee, where we are just about set for kickoff in a fixture that dates back to the league's inaugural season. Chattanooga Red Wolves and Richmond Kickers once again here at CHI Memorial Stadium. And now it's time to get a look at our starting lineups, starting with Scott McKenzie's men. 3 changes from the 2-0 defeat at Omaha a week ago. Ropapa Mensah slides in up front. The former Richmond kicker Matt Bentley partners him with Omar Hernandez. And then a 5-back with Toby Adewole back in the lineup after he didn't travel to Omaha. A change between the sticks as well, with Jason Smith returning for Ricardo Jerez. On the opposite end of things for Richmond kickers, just one change from what was a 4-0 defeat last time out in the Prinks Tires USL Cup against Charleston Battery, and it is the return of Joshua Kirkland to the side. Meanwhile, Tarek Panholzer partners him. Jan Filion remains the go-to goalkeeper, and Ali Sasanka is the key presence in the heart of the park once again. That is your look at Darren Sawatsky's 11. Just about ready to get everything underway on a wet day in Chattanooga, Tennessee. You see the impacts of week-long weather on the pitch. This should be an interesting one between Chattanooga and Richmond. Sam Goldfarb bringing you every step of the way as we are underway from CHI Memorial Stadium. We thank you for spending your Wednesday night with us. And already you can see that this may become a difficult one to play. Controlled football could be an old school waterlogged football match, and it should be interesting to see how it all unfolds. It is a bit of a throwback to last season. Talking to Darren Sawatsky this week, he did mention how a year ago they played on this field and the pitch was absolutely swamped. Today, not much different. Scott McKenzie's men maybe won't complain as much. This is a side that is known for its ability to park numbers behind the ball, play Route 1 football, and counter with pace. Perhaps these conditions lend themselves favorably to this Red Wolves side. Early on, here's the first touch from Acosta, and already looking long for Bentley and company. Well, fans, this injury report is presented by Center for Sports Medicine. 4 out for Chattanooga: Walefi, Harry Jolly, Vaughn, and Maldonado, all unavailable. None officially reported for Richmond. Darren Sawatsky mentioning how they're starting to get healthy. A few players still trying to work their way back into the fold, but they're glad to have Kirkland back. Luca Dorado missed some time. He also returns to the squad. So they are starting to get back up to full strength. Just waiting on the return of Tyler Freeman, who hopefully will be available shortly. Got your look at Darren Sawatsky moments ago. He's mentioned how it was a shortened preseason and his team struggled early on. Just 1 point in their first 4 league matches as a result. But now he says with everybody getting fit and beginning to gel, you're starting to see the true potential of this squad. And with 3 consecutive league victories on the spin, you get the sense they could be quite competitive as the year unfolds. Long throw opportunity here for Omar Hernandez, who arcs it into the mix. Adewole heads it well over the bar. Well, there's your look at Jan Filion. It's been an interesting offseason between the sticks for Richmond kickers because James Sneddon, the last 2 years, was effectively the go-to goalkeeper. And Darren Sawatsky mentioning he thinks very highly of Sneddon, feels he has high professional potential. But when reviewing last season, a year in which they missed the playoffs by a rather substantial margin, he felt that they needed a little more experience as their go-to option between the sticks. So they go and get Jan Filion, who's not only played high-level football in the CPL, but most recently in the Maltese Premier League, where he played in the UEFA Europa Conference League qualifiers. He felt that that level of experience would suit them best. And so far, Filion, top 5 in the league in saves and clean sheets. He has been a force to be reckoned with and has kept Richmond in a number of matches. As you see Marana struggling to clear and just knocking this out of play. Get the sense that this long throw will start to become a commonality given the conditions. Omar Hernandez has already shown a potential to put it into the mix. Arcs it in again. Adewole touches it on to Bentley. He follows it up. It falls for Mensah, who ripples the back of the net. And inside 5 minutes, the Chattanooga Red Wolves are in front. Papa Mensah, someone who has a knack for scoring in Chattanooga colors, opens his league account for the season, and Chattanooga in front off the long throw. It's just a long throw. Adewole does well to knock it on, and it's pure chaos. Richmond can't clear it. It falls so kindly right in the middle of the puddle, and Ropapa-Mensah powers it beyond Jan Filion at point-blank range. Takes a favorable touch, just skews off Bentley's boots, and all Mensah has to do is put his laces through it. Big Papa back on the score sheet in league play for Chattanooga Red Wolves, and they lead against Richmond again. The 28-year-old who has made a habit of scoring in USL League One after 2 breakout seasons with Chattanooga. It didn't quite pan out throughout the full campaign with Greenville a year ago, but working his way back into the mix, and after grappling with early season knocks and little niggles here and there, he's worked his way back and gotten himself on the score sheet in league play. Well, just like that, Ropapa-Mensah gives Chattanooga the lead. Ranked top 10 in the league in goals back-to-back seasons with Chattanooga. Departed, though, as Scott McKenzie overhauled his entire roster between 2024 and 2025. That was a year in which they didn't bring back any of the top 3 goal scorers in Mensah, Siobhan Marsh, or Mael Malonko. And many had them ranked bottom of the league. And last season, changed the entire style, based it around winning duels and throwing numbers behind the ball, setting a league record in terms of low for average possession, as this is played forward and ultimately pounced upon by Jason Smith. He managed to get back to the playoffs, and Mensah rejoining that equation, and you see him make his mark here. Bentley. Nobody can get any clear semblance of sustained possession in this so far. O'Malley. Leline. Mensah nearly snatched it right back. And the ref waves play on. Here's Bentley on the turn. Just over. The former Richmond kicker had visions of his name up in lights. Again, they just win it back here. Bentley lashes at it, tries to keep it down. Ultimately, had Filion rooted, but unable to put it on frame. And for those wondering who the conditions would benefit, I think the opening 8 minutes answers your question. Talking to Scott McKenzie in the past, he's mentioned how in League One on occasion, passes 1 through 5 are what yields goals, as there's a chance for Ramos, who slips in the puddle. Cleared away by Barnathan. And this is Darwin Espinal. He's been a revelation since joining Richmond a year ago. Barnathan. Sasanka. Leline. Here's Acosta. Clips it forward for Mensah, who is onside. Drawing Leighton well out of position. Cross comes in. Bentley chasing. Finally cleared away by Marana. As far as Jordan Iambila, though. Hernandez. Early on, Richmond looks the part of Chattanooga in many respects. This is a Red Wolves side that prides themselves on their ability to absorb pressure, sit off without the ball, and then attack direct, be it from Route 1 football or counterattacks down the flanks. As things stand, Richmond can't string more than 3 passes together. Panholzer muscled off it by Iambila. Whistle sounds against Joshua Kirkland. Fans turn to the CBS Sports Network on Saturday, May 30th for a USL Championship battle for the top of the Eastern Conference. Reigning Players Shield winner Louisville City host the undefeated Tampa Bay Rowdies at 7 p.m. Eastern. Catch all the action on the CBS Sports Network on May 30th. Here's an aerial ball, it falls kindly, and Chattanooga doubles the lead. Omar Gomez strikes, and it's 2-0 on 11 minutes. Route 1 football paying the ultimate dividends, and Chattanooga in top gear here early on. They just play it so far long. Richmond can't clear it. It skews awkwardly off the head of Barnathan, and Omar Gomez blasts it past Filione. The first goal off a long throw, the second goal off the most direct ball imaginable. Does it fall kindly? Yes, but Gomez makes no mistakes. His second career goal, and Chattanooga in dreamland. Omar Gomez is not known for goal scoring. Has not found the back of the net all season. Has only found the back of the net once in his entire professional career prior to tonight. But in the right place at the right time, benefiting from the chaotic conditions, no doubt. But Chattanooga leveraging that to the ultimate advantage. And this place, which has been a house of horrors throughout Richmond Kickers' 7-year tenure in League One, remains one. Although this could be a moment of reckoning, because that is a physical challenge. And it has left a Chattanooga player prone on the pitch. Take another look. Sasenka, and actually, it appears to be Gomez who's put himself in harm's way. Darren Sawatsky does not seem to be a pleased party at the moment. Gomez is still down. I think ultimately he's arguing that Gomez put himself in that position by going to ground first. Earlier, by the way, in the midst of all of this, Jan Filione was shown a yellow card following the goal. So he's the first man in the book. But right now, the concern falls on Omar Gomez, who just scored moments ago and now is down following that slightly reckless challenge on Sasenka. Seems Gomez will try and walk this off. It is a Chattanooga side that is already quite banged up. Remember, 4 players unavailable tonight. Wine and Wessels just returning to the subs bench for the first time in a little over a month. But everyone content to continue for now. Played long by Filione. This might be a theme of the night from here on out. This time the whistle sounds against the Red Wolves. Hayden Anderson clattered. Set pieces will be the name of the game for both sides. These are probably the primary candidates to produce goals this evening. You've already seen a long throw, effectively a makeshift set piece, produce the opener. Not to mention direct Route 1 play out of the normal run, producing the second. So these are the moments where you would fancy Richmond to get one back. Darwin Espinal and Neil Soyford are pretty good candidates for these scenarios. It is Espinal who drives it goalward, and it was never challenging Jason Smith there. Gives us a chance to tell you that you can enter the Prince Tires USL Cup Game Day Kit Sweepstakes for your chance to win a prize pack worth up to $2,000. Scan the QR code on screen and enter today. For those just joining us, it has been an eventful start to this one in East Tennessee. The rain has finally subsided, but the pitch is still pretty waterlogged. Chattanooga has used that to its advantage so far. A pair of goals inside the opening 11 minutes. Rapapa Mensah on 5 minutes, Omar Gomez on 11, both coming off of a Route 1 or makeshift set-piece play. And Richmond reeling once again in this venue that has been the source of so many nightmares in years past. When you think back to this long history that dates back to the league's inaugural season, these two teams have played in Chattanooga 10 previous times. Richmond has never won here. They managed just 2 points from an available 30. 8 wins for Chattanooga and 2 draws. That the only results Richmond has been able to procure. Last season, similar conditions to this one, monsoon-like conditions in fact. Played to a 0-0 draw. Unfortunately, with the remix version of those conditions, it won't be 0-0 for Richmond here today. And Smith has issues clearing that, but ultimately gets it out of play. Long throw here from Murana, trying to take a page out of Chattanooga's playbook, and Espinal overzealous as he looked to create separation from Ramos. It has been an inconsistent start to the year for Chattanooga. Talking to Scott McKenzie in the past, he lamented how his side, relative to many others in the league, didn't have many opportunities for what he calls competitive feedback. The squad only playing 9 matches across all competitions, when most teams have played well into double figures now. He said that in a way, he feels that's prevented his side from gaining rhythm. He says on paper, he feels this squad is deeper than last season's was, from player 1 to player 18. It is a team that returns 12 players who started somewhat frequently from a season ago and is made key additions across the board. As Mensah hooks this forward. Bentley got a touch. Filione ultimately wins the foot race. He says when all is said and done, he does feel that this side will still rank amongst the league's best, despite the ins and outs and ups and downs of the start. And this is what the field can create. Jan Filione taking no chances with that. It's basically a slip and slide out there in the penalty area. Lean now. Figure he'll arc this back into the penalty area. Certainly throws it toward that direction. Espinal. Have to wonder how Richmond will respond here, because ultimately the game plan coming in, according to Darren Sawatsky, was to enjoy possession and knock it about a bit. Conditions have not afforded that. So now it's time for plan B. Just wonder if they can beat Chattanooga at their own game to a degree. They'll need to take some pages out of Scott McKenzie's playbook in the way of set pieces and direct play to have any chance here, given the circumstances. Fans, the USL Championship is in Spanish on 2DN, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Omar Hernandez has already produced off of one long throw-in. Has his eyes set on doing the same once again. Instead, it goes short, and he gets it back here. Dances past one. Ultimately falls kindly. And Vila will track this down. Gomez keeps this in play for Mensah, and now the referee says he was offside. The conversation around Richmond kickers, both talking to Darren Sawatsky and listening to local fan-produced content, was surely we aren't in for the circumstances we battled a year ago. Last year, monsoon-like conditions was the word used to describe it. And it made it very difficult, according to Darren Sawatsky, for his side to be able to even build up consistently or embrace their patterns of play. So a lot of fans were saying, surely not. This year the odds are favoring us to be able to play in a scenario that maybe befits our desired approach. Seems that they've tempted fate. Not quite as adverse conditions as a year ago, but already seen the effects of the week-long weather in Chattanooga. This is arced long, late and away. Hernandez had a crack. Floated back into the mix toward Bentley. Papa Mensah gets there first. Rana away. Panholzer enters today on fire with 3 goals in his last 4. So midway through this first half, and for those just joining us, 2-0 to Chattanooga Red Wolves, looking for yet another victory over Richmond kickers in a series they have dominated all time. 12 wins to Richmond's 6. We've won 12 of 20 previous meetings against the kickers, and we've already spoken about the flawless home record against this kickers side. Last year, the 0-0 draw was just the second ever point Richmond has produced on this pitch. There's a cross from Panholzer. Goals scored by Ropapa Mensah on 5 minutes off of an Omar Hernandez long throw after pure chaos in the Richmond penalty box. And then Omar Gomez scoring after an errant header from Dakota Barnathan on a direct ball forward. All in all, first and second balls have all fallen Chattanooga's way, and they have capitalized as a result. Anderson, flattered by Ramos. It's a loose header, just about steered out of play from Adewole. This is Richmond's first corner. It's the first Pepsi corner kick of the night. It will be Neil Soyford to do the honors for the kickers. In-swinger to the near post. Still loose and dashed just towards the edge of the area. Soyford bending it goalward. Still not dealt with. And finally, right to the goalkeeper, Jason Smith, despite the plume of rainwater in his face. This ball is enticing, and Smith can only punch, and it falls actually rather nicely for Sam Layton. But ultimately, Smith makes himself an obstacle and prevents it from going any further. Jason Smith is known for being an elite quick reflex shot stopper, according to Scott McKenzie. Someone who was brought in last season at just 22 years of age after finishing his career in college at Syracuse. And Scott McKenzie saying to him when he brought it in, I'm going to start you and I'm willing to let you play through your mistakes. And he feels that that's given Jason Smith unparalleled degrees of confidence. And this season, despite being tested sporadically, has still performed. Someone who can pull off some of the best saves you'll see in the league, despite maybe not being tested as much as his counterparts. He makes a big stop there when they need it. There's Soyford. Smith has an issue with that, but he was fouled in the process. Bentley chasing this, and he does get there first. It's still Matt Bentley hunting support. Not enough on it for Iambila. Space the other way now for the kickers. Panholzer. Kirkland lost his footing, and he was fouled according to our referee. That's a free kick in an enticing spot, as the first yellow card is shown to a Chattanooga player towards Yanis Leline. It's a counterattack, a promising one at that. Ultimately, the shove from Yanis Leline is what causes him to enter the book. Let's see what Richmond can conjure here. Soyford standing over it. Trying to test Smith from range. Something of a specialist from distance, and he does bend it goalward. Ultimately sails wide though. And the jeering Chattanooga faithful let him hear it. Yellow card confirmed to Yanis Leline, the Chattanooga man in the book. Just shy of the 30-minute threshold, and 2-0 to Chattanooga Red Wolves, seeking just their second league victory since the season opener against Greenville Triumph. It's been a shaky go of it, but it is a side that has also dealt with the ebbs and flows of scheduling. Very few opportunities for consistent matches on the trot. Now they're finally in the midst of a weekly run of games. Currently playing their second of 3 matches in a week. And for many, you'd feel that would test the depth of a squad, especially for Chattanooga, because they are a squad that is so banged up health-wise. But Scott McKenzie's mentioned the importance of just establishing a consistent match rhythm and gelling as a unit. consistent run of fixtures maybe starting to do them good. Seufert. Kirkland loses out and was held the whole way by Kinsner. Snatched back by Espinal, who pings it goalward. Figured he might as well have a pop, but it is right at Smith. Fans Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the grassroots to the pros, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. Here's Mensah, one of the 2 goal scorers for Chattanooga thus far. I mentioned his sensational goal scoring record during his time with Chattanooga, but also Ropapa Mensah with proven pedigree beyond that. Someone who excelled in the Egyptian second tier during his spell away from the USL ranks, but also played in the championship with Nashville when they were in the championship. Sporting Kansas City 2 and Pittsburgh. Scored Nashville SC's first goal as a USL club in franchise history in a friendly against Atlanta United. In year 12 as a professional, continues to make noise in the final third. Even if it has been a slightly more barren goal scoring run the last year and a half or so. Leilin, Gomez. Not only as far as Jordan Iambila. Can't handle that properly. This is floated long again. And Kirkland giving chase. Clatters into Leilin, and this is an interesting decision from our referee. It goes against Kirkland. It did appear Leilin got there first, and Kirkland pays the price. And it is Kirkland who trips up Leilin in the end, who is on a yellow, so that had sounded against Chattanooga. It would have been an interesting decision from our lead official, Island Pexenart. Adewole. Mensah. Hernandez chasing after this as well. And loses the foot race with Leighton. Another opportunity for Hernandez to cue up this patented long throw that has defined the first half to date. One of his previous 3 have yielded a goal, and the first created plenty of chaos in the box as well. Plays it back in again. Adewole's touch rather loose. Acosta. Hernandez again. It's a dipping cross that falls kindly. It's still loose. Ramos with a chance for 3. Filion makes the stop, and now there's appeals for penalty. There's also a Richmond player down in Ali Sasenka. Ultimately, it appears our referees content to just let it go out for a corner. But Sasenka is still down, and someone who's been a really welcome addition to this Richmond Kickers 11 this season. His first year as a pro, just 2 years removed from finishing his college career at Sacramento State. He is clutching his ankle in some discomfort. It's a really appetizing cross. Mensah knocks it along to Bentley, who went down after clattering into Sasenka, and then the Ramos chance followed. You see the look on Hernandez's face. Having a word with the supporters about perhaps the conditions he's facing. Ultimately, he can't have much to be upset with given the scoreline. Well, Sasenka still tended to by the Richmond physios. It's a squad that has spent so much time trying to get healthy after preseason injuries to Darwin Espinal as well as Neil Seufert, both fixtures in the 11 a season ago. Now they're starting to get everybody back. Kirkland missed a couple matches, he's back in the squad. Dorado, who missed the Prinks Cup game against Charleston Battery's back as well. Can't afford to lose anyone at this stage, especially given the need for depth. Sasenka will limp off gingerly ahead of this corner kick, which is presented by Pepsi. In-swinger to the near post. It's not dealt with just yet. Finally away. Bila. O'Malley overran it and upended in the process. And all the challenges flying in. Both parties feel aggrieved. Bila diving in. Almost a receipt for the previous challenge against his teammate. Both Gomez and Barnathan having words with the referee. O'Malley overruns this. And it's a sliding tackle from Gomez. Ultimately, everybody gets off scot-free, and everybody is pretty displeased with that outcome. It's a free kick for Neil Seufert. Eight minutes and change for Richmond to find a lifeline before the break. Otherwise, the halftime team talk, maybe a stern one from Jared Sawatsky. Seufert hooks it in. It's an awkward header backward. Run up, wrestling for it, and loses it on a play. Well, fan soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. Not a bad seat in the house at CHI Memorial Stadium, a lovely venue to take in the football in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And all of the home faithful rather pleased with what they're seeing so far. 2 goals for Chattanooga inside the opening 11 minutes from Ropapa Mensah and Omar Gomez make the difference. And Richmond Kickers, a squad that entered in the midst of its first 3-match winning run in league play in 4 years, finds itself in some danger early on. Morana. Gomez lofting it forward, and Mensah after it. Filion heads it away. Does the job for now. Bentley. O'Malley. He looks long. And the whistle sounds again. Come back to the earlier challenge on Kirkland, who was being tugged the entire way forward, and that was his complaint for our referee. More opportunity for Neil Seufert to get his delivery right. Dead ball scenarios would benefit Richmond, but they have yet to truly trouble Jason Smith with the exception of the 1-point blank chance. These become more difficult for defenders to manage though, given the circumstances, given nobody knows which way the ball will bounce. Soyford going for goal, just knuckles it over. Final 5 minutes of this first half. As things stand, Chattanooga Red Wolves on their way to continuing Richmond's nightmarish woes in this venue. Would be a 9-win from 11 meetings while being unbeaten in this fixture. Penholzer plays it forward for Kirkland. Away by Kinsner. Bentley now chasing. Layton losing his footing as well. Everything is difficult work for these defenders both ways. If you are Scott McKenzie, you have to be pleased with the continued conversion of chances, because while the output has been up and down all year from Chattanooga, 9 league goals entering the night, 4 of which came in that dominant victory over Sarasota at the beginning of the month. They were still overperforming their expected goals by almost 3 goals. We're bottom of the league with just 6.13 XG. Now they've scored 11 goals from XG that really hasn't eclipsed 7 yet when you look at their live XG tonight, which is just 0.54. They are converting chances. And in many ways, it does still meet the formula that we saw last season when they were able to throw numbers behind the ball and take opportunities on the counter. They may have another one brewing here, but Mensah is offside. And while you can look at the results and maybe thumb your nose at it, start to claim narratives about how last season isn't replicable, you're starting to see the seeds of that replicability being planted. Mensah. Tremendous start to his night. It's loose from Adewole. Espinal floats it in behind. Kirkland, the most space he's had so far. And it's saved by Smith, but knocked over the line. And before Espinal can do that, the whistle blows. It was nearly a lifeline for Richmond. But Smith fouled, and the goal taken off the board. Well, you see Kirkland have a pop. It's right at Smith, who had it covered but couldn't pounce on it. And this is a rather interesting decision from our referee. There is not that much in it between Espinal and Jason Smith. And perhaps the kickers have been thrown an unlucky break. Heart and throat moment that is ultimately neutralized by the referee's whistle. Kirkland again. Spins around Adewole. Here is Espinal. Man, that's the center of that controversy moments ago. Richmond with a minute and change to find an avenue back into this before the break. Otherwise, it may be a tall order against one of the league's best defenses over the last year and a half. Long throw in. Anderson. Half volley effort. No issue for Smith. Three minutes of stoppage time separate us from halftime in what has been an eventful, entertaining first half. As things stand, Scott McKenzie's men firmly in the driver's seat less than a week after, suffering a pretty tough defeat at Omaha. And he is someone who has revolutionized the way the game is played in USL League One. There's a general trend now, and many should credit it to Scott McKenzie, with teams playing without the ball, just due to the fact that it is easier to score goals off giveaways and on the counter. Scott McKenzie's men have mastered the art of winning duels, winning first and second balls, and turning that into chances. And some coaches throughout the league have said you can thumb your nose at it, but ultimately it is effective. And last season, the prime example, finishing second in the Players' Shield chase pretty much until the final day. And Darren Sawatsky himself giving them the utmost credit when we spoke on the phone today, saying it isn't always pretty, but it is effective. As the whistle sounds there against Matt Bentley for the boot he lay on Muji Burana. Midway through stoppage time. Mensah clattered from behind. Dakota Barnathan, perhaps fortunate to escape without further punishment. And the initial goal scorer for Chattanooga still prone on the deck. It's a high elbow right into the small of Mensah's neck, and fortunately, he's up and content to continue. Now the final minute of the added 3 in this first half. Hernandez hoofs it forward. Falls for Lilleen. Terrific challenge from O'Malley. And this is likely the final sojourn forward of the first half. One more long throw, and behind for one final corner. Omar Hernandez is getting real target practice on every dead ball scenario imaginable. Long throws, corners, free kicks. He's asked plenty of questions of this Richmond backline in the first half, and not all of them have been answered. In swinger. It's dangerous as well. Gomez headed it right at Filion, though. There is the halftime whistle, and some frustration after the fact from Hayden Anderson. Ultimately, Richmond finds themselves 2-0 behind, and Chattanooga Red Wolves, after scoring 2 goals in the opening 11 minutes, find themselves in front. Yellow card shown to Anderson for the kick of the ball into the referee on the touchline. And ultimately, Mensah and Gomez the difference makers after 45 minutes and change. Well, at intermission, it is Chattanooga in front, and comfortably so, taking advantage of dead ball scenarios and winning with Route 1 football. Omar Hernandez and company soaring inside the opening 15, and they see it out to halftime. We'll step aside when we return a look around USL League One.
This isn't just a team, it's a statement. We don't just represent Chattanooga.
Let's get it poppin', let's get it poppin'.
We run it.
Let's get it poppin'.
Built to battle. Fueled by pride. Driven by the pack.
Let's get it poppin'.
Chattanooga Red Wolves.
He shoots, and he scores!
Why do you always seem to be on that last flight home? Why is the customer always right, even when they're wrong? It's because when it's your business, you're all in. And no one's all in with you like EPB. Only EPB is all in with 100% fiber fast internet that's always your best value. Plus experts all in to help you 24/7. We're all in Chattanooga, because we're all in this together. EPB for your business. We're all in.
We welcome you back to Chattanooga, where at halftime, Chattanooga Red Wolves find themselves in front once again at home against Richmond Kickers. Well, at halftime, it gives us a chance to tell you about The Experience, which is a video docu-series that shows the history, passion, and community of USL clubs and their supporters groups. The latest episode showcases League One newcomer Athletic Club Boise and their support group, the River Guard, and it is available on youtube.com/USL. Check it out.
I think Idahoans have been clamoring for something that is theirs.
Feel a big sense of responsibility to do this right. You only get one first season.
For me, without soccer, it's like there's no air. Having it here, I feel like I can breathe again. Boise's never had anything like this.
He shoots, and he scores!
Why do you always seem to be on that last flight home? Why is the customer always right, even when they're wrong? It's because when it's your business, you're all in. And no one's all in with you like EPB. Only EPB is all in with 100% fiber fast internet that's always your best value. Plus experts all in to help you 24/7. We're all in Chattanooga, because we're all in this together. EPB for your business. We're all in.
Before the World Cup can begin, 48 national teams need a home, and home is a lot more than a practice field.
They wanted a beautiful grass field and in a sort of secure facility with great access to gyms and all the other pieces around.
Dan Rutstein had the honor of handing the keys to Orange County SC's entire facility to the U.S. men's national team. Why does it matter to you to have the U.S. national team at your facility?
Look, if you can't get excited about a World Cup, then we shouldn't be in this business. It's obviously an enormous opportunity. We're happy for them, it's a great facility. We're happy for us, we're happy for our fans, so we can be talked about in the same breath as the home nation in a home World Cup.
Orange County is joined by the Oakland Roots, who will host the Australian national team, and the Tampa Bay Rowdies hosting first-time World Cup team Cape Verde. When clubs spend multiple weeks in one building, the facility must accommodate an entire support system, not just the players. In a large country like the United States, travel can take a toll. Cape Verde's Tampa home sets up short flights to Atlanta, Miami, and Houston for its group matches. Australia will play matches in Vancouver, Seattle, and nearby Santa Clara. The U.S. team's longest journey is Seattle, sandwiched between two group matches in Los Angeles. But as the World Cup takes place, it's business as usual for the USL Championship. For Orange County, a worthwhile temporary adjustment.
We're still training next door. The short-term pain of being not allowed to use our stadium for the medium and long-term gain of working with the US national team, we could never say no to an opportunity like that.
The first half is in the books in USL League One. We hope you're enjoying the match so far. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio with the headlines from the week. One expansion club stunned another in Week 12. Fort Wayne handed AC Boise its first home defeat after Boise began the season with a very impressive 5-game unbeaten run at home in all competitions. Boise's streak is the 5th longest to begin an inaugural season in League One history. Don't look now, but 2 red-hot clubs have jumped above the playoff line and hope to climb even higher. Charlotte Independence defeated Forward Madison 3-1 to run its unbeaten streak to 4 matches, moving into 6th place in the League One table. And sitting 1 point behind them is AV Alta, who also has a 4-game unbeaten run, capped by a 4-0 victory against the New York Cosmos. AV Alta moves into the 8th spot in the League One table. Congratulations to Spokane Velocity goalkeeper Sean Lewis for collecting his 200th career save, a USL League One record. His regular season totals in League One include 72 appearances, 26 shutouts, and a save percentage above 75. League One and the USL Championship have loaded the month of June with national spotlight broadcasts. CBS Sports Network will feature the Tampa Bay Rowdies and Charleston Battery, and Las Vegas Lights against Orange County. ESPN2 will feature Forward Madison against Fort Wayne. This is the USL Halftime Update. Let's get you back out to your match.
We welcome you back to Chattanooga, where we get a look at our team of the week for weeks 11 and 12 in USL League One. It is Adam Almish who is our player of the week. Meanwhile, Vincenzo Candela, the coach of the week, after leading Union Omaha to that 2-0 victory over Chattanooga Red Wolves. And Adam Almish is the player of the week, the star in AV Alta's 4-0 victory over New York Cosmos in the late night affair on Saturday. He was the standout performer. In terms of upcoming matches throughout Week 13, here's your look at the active scoreboard. No score at halftime between New York Cosmos and Union Omaha, the league leaders, looking for a result against a squad that is struggling towards the bottom of the table. Meanwhile, later tonight, AC Boise hosting Sarasota in the return fixture in that battle of expansion clubs. As you look throughout the weekend, Chattanooga stays at home. They take on Charlotte Independence Saturday at 7. Meanwhile, when you look at the future fixtures throughout the weekend, Richmond Kickers will host AC Boise on Saturday. The sentiment around the fan base was they needed a result in this one given AC Boise's form, but Boise's form not exactly the best, so they're hoping that they can pull off the surprise at City Stadium. That is your look around the league for Week 13 in USL League One. When we return, we peek back at the 45 minutes that just transpired here in Chattanooga. Stick with us.
Why do you always seem to be on that last flight home? Why is the customer always right, even when they're wrong? It's because when it's your business, you're all in. And no one's all in with you like EPB. Only EPB is all in with 100% fiber fast internet that's always your best value. Plus experts all in to help you 24/7. We're all in Chattanooga because we're all in this together. EPB for your business. We're all in.
He shoots, and he scores!
Through every stage of life, it's great to have a partner to help you take the next step. To open that first checking account, build credit, save for the future, plan for retirement, and create a legacy for those who matter most. From that first milestone to all the moments ahead, greater awaits. Bank OZK.
This isn't just a team, it's a statement. We don't just represent Chattanooga.
Let's get it poppin', let's get it poppin'.
We run it.
Let's get it poppin'.
Built to battle. Fueled by pride. Driven by the pack.
Let's get it poppin'.
Chattanooga Red Wolves.
We welcome you back to Chattanooga, where at halftime they're doing work on a waterlogged football pitch. 2-0 to the Red Wolves, and the Red Wolves grounds crew is being worked heavy as they look to get the pitch ready for play in this second half. It's time to get a look back at our first half highlights, and what a start it was for Chattanooga Red Wolves. Undaunted by the conditions, and 5 minutes in, finding the opener. Toby Adewole knocking it on to Bentley, who just about puts it in the path of Mensah, and all Mensah has to do is power it in from point-blank range. It falls so nicely for the dynamic goal scorer. Filion closes down the angle, but not well enough. And then 5 minutes later, direct from a set piece, they just look long. It's used awkwardly off Sam Layton's head, Barnathan's head, and then falls again very favorably. Omar Gomez in behind and driving it beyond Filion, who's laid off his line. And inside the opening 10, it was 2-0 to Chattanooga. From there, Richmond looked for an avenue back. There were very few chances, but they did have one here on 25, where this just got arced back in from Seufert. It was awkwardly dealt with by Smith, and if not for a slightly shaky effort from Layton, it may be 2-1. But otherwise, Richmond really struggled, and Smith weathering the puddle to make the save. In terms of our first half stats, Chattanooga on the front foot across the board, even holding an edge possessionally, which is by no means the Red Wolves' desired game plan. 2-0 on the score sheet, a 10-7 shots advantage. All in all, deserved leaders at halftime. Richmond, most of those shots on target coming after going 2-0 behind. They've been playing catch-up and not doing so effectively enough to get back in this fixture so far. That is the picture of the first half as things stand. Chattanooga, the dominant side. Well, the two sides are still preparing to take the pitch, but a brief delay as the grounds crew squeegees the pitch, trying to get all of the puddles off of the field. The rain has, at least for now, subsided. We're hearing word that maybe later on tonight you could see some more rain, but as things stand, there is no more water coming on the pitch now, so hopefully the grounds crew can make this as playable as possible after the restart. It's definitely a hard-working day for the players and everyone involved. I have to give major credit to the grounds crew for helping keep this pitch habitable for the players. We will take a quick breather here when we return the second half from Chattanooga.
will continue once the field is declared safe by the officials. Concessions brought to you tonight by Pepsi. Thirsty for more with Pepsi. Pepsi is the exclusive beverage partner of the Chattanooga Red Wolves.
We welcome you back to Chattanooga, where we are just about ready for second half kickoff in this League One fixture between the Red Wolves and the Kickers, a pair of sides that have been squaring off since the league's inaugural season. Chattanooga, of course, established ahead of the inaugural USL League One campaign. Richmond, one of the longest consistently serving professional clubs. In fact, they've been around continuously for north of 3 decades. Have yet to win a USL League One title, but have been a consistently competitive outfit wherever they have competed. 4 years ago, winning the Players' Shield as the league's top title contender, and ever since have remained at least in the conversation when we head down the stretch of the season. As things currently stand, they have work to do if they are to close the gap between themselves and the playoff line. 3 points separate them and 8th placed AV Alta. Meanwhile, Chattanooga could close the gap themselves if they can get over the line and get 3 points. They would shrink the gap from 6 to 3 points and overtake Richmond in the table if this result were to hold. It will be Richmond to get us back underway. There was one change in halftime. Sean Vinberg replacing Tarek Panholzer, a center back on for an out-and-out forward. So that signifies a potential formation shift as we finally get back underway for this second half. Sam Goldfarb taking you the remainder of this one. We thank you for joining us and sticking through this with us on ESPN+. And already Vinberg having problems with the wet, waterlogged conditions, which have influenced Richmond's play much more negatively than it has Chattanooga's. You have to give the Red Wolves credit for managing these circumstances so well. It's a short throw this time. Acosta pinging it in. Espinal bashing clear. Wole was fouled by O'Malley after the fact. And O'Malley is not exactly Chattanooga's favorite Richmond player at the moment. Exchanging a series of words with a number of players in the maroon kits. Was a lively start to the first half. For those that missed the halftime highlights, a pair of goals inside the opening 10 for this Chattanooga side. Papa Mensah on 5 minutes, and then 5 minutes later, Omar Gomez. Direct play has been the name of the game. As Hernandez's free kick sails right back to Jan Filion, who did not exactly have the dream first half. Forced into a number of uncomfortable positions, and one of the league's top save providers has yet to make a clear-cut stop. Well, fans, check out the new 2026 Chattanooga Red Wolves kit, along with t-shirts, scarves, novelty items, and much more at ChattanoogaRedWolves-SC.com. Here's Ian Bila, who strolls forward and overhits this. Bentley darting into traffic and sticking with it and finishing for Chattanooga. Matt Bentley against his former club, and he may have all but wrapped it up now. He loves a goal against the Richmond Kickers, and for the second consecutive year, he has one. Chattanooga 3, Richmond 0. Well, you see Bentley here, it's just pure tenacity. Sprints through a convoy of kickers and then just pings it past Jan Filion. It's a finesse finish, but it's placed perfectly. And just like that, Chattanooga in full cruise control. Matt Bentley is a player with a chip on his shoulder. Wherever he's been, his coaches have raved about that quality. Scored 10 goals across all comps a year ago in Chattanooga colors. He bags his 4th in league play this season. It was a slow start by his lofty standards. Didn't score until the Sarasota match, and then he exploded for a trio of league tallies. He adds a 4th of the year against the Kickers, and for the second consecutive meeting with Richmond, he scores against the club he suited up for 3 years ago. Matt Bentley is someone known for his career in the U.S. Drafted with the 88th overall pick out of Missouri State by Minnesota United. Couldn't quite make it in the MLS ranks despite his decorated college career, but bounced around the lower leagues of the United States, including a 2-year stint with Richmond, as this half volley effort draws Smith into action. And ultimately, he does enough to parry it behind. This is just pure end-to-end chaos. This was audacious from Espinal. Takes it out of the sky. And he had Smith scrambling. It is another corner kick presented by Pepsi. And it is Neil Seufert who stands over it. Flips it toward the back stick. Headed on and off the line this time. Murana appealing for handball. O'Malley. Leighton runs into a thicket of Red Wolves. He can't take it away from danger, though. Kirkland. Omar Hernandez. But on the subject of Bentley, a native of England, turned 28 on Saturday. Had his ups and downs during his time with Richmond. At one point, Darren Sawatsky mentioning how he's more of an out-and-out winger, and that's where he's being deployed today. But during his time in Richmond in 2023, M.A. Terzaghi went down with injury. And as a result, Bentley was asked to play the number 9 role, which is far from his natural position, and the goals dried up. In Chattanooga, after a brief spell in the National League, back in his native England, he has rediscovered the goal-scoring potential. And in fact, he's optimized it. Another Pepsi corner kick for Richmond. Outswinger this time from Seufert. Away from Ramos. And the whistle sounds against Richmond for handball. Fans on the field, smart decisions win games. Off the field, smart decisions save lives. If you've been drinking, don't drive. Pass your keys to a sober friend, call a rideshare, or take public transit. Fans don't let fans drive drunk. A reminder from the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security. For those that are just joining us, it is now 3-0 to Chattanooga. Matt Bentley adding a third goal in the 48th minute, but there is a player down now in defense for the Red Wolves. And it appears to be Joshua Ramos, who's been all over the shop this evening. Seems he was floored during that chaos in the penalty area during the corner. Just an outswinging ball, and Ramos made himself an obstacle. And as he goes up for the header, he clatters into his own teammate out of Wole. Ramos came off worse for wear. He has been a key presence in the lineup since signing with Chattanooga last winter. Someone who has ascended from the NAIA ranks with Dalton State to the professional footballing ranks with Chattanooga Red Wolves and has carved out a consistent role in that right wing back spot. Right now there seems to be concern about a potential head injury. There are options on the bench, should Scott McKenzie opt to use them. Although the defensive ones are rather young. Aaron Lombardi is the most experienced presence at 30 years of age. You'd fancy him to be the like-for-like replacement at wing back if necessary, although he himself is just coming off injury. Ramos, as things stand, is just gingerly walking off the pitch to be examined. Finally set to get back underway. Gomez. Mensa wins the first ball. Gomez chases after it. Hernandez. No trouble there for Filion. It is remarkable what Scott McKenzie's been able to do during his time with Chattanooga. Didn't join the club until a really underwhelming 2023 season in which the club went through major turmoil in its hopes to replicate its quest to return to the 2022 USL League One final. Scott McKenzie took over in a season that was effectively lost. In August of that year, they were well off playoff pace, and he ended the year inspirationally. 9 points in September, nearly 2.1 goals per game over the final 2 months of the year, and earned the full-time position as a result. But in 2024, wasn't quite able to implement his true desired style on things. He was working with a team that wasn't suited to play the deep-lying, aggressive, dual-winning Route 1 style he wanted. And in 2024, they really struggled, missed the playoffs with the joint least points in the league, and on the penultimate day of the season, fell in Richmond as Richmond clinched a playoff berth in a heated affair. So he completely overhauled the roster a season ago. We spoke about it a little in the first half, but did not return much from that squad, and what a job his side did. Finished second in the league, 2 points shy of the first ever Players' Shield in club history, and he was named Coach of the Year as a result. I've already spoken about more ups and downs than they would have hoped for to open this year, but this would be the ultimate high point if they could see it over the line. Knocking off a Richmond team in a major litmus test 6-pointer and putting themselves right back in the thick of the top 8 chase. as we head towards June. This is launched forward toward Mensah, who does get there first. Cross comes in. Omar Hernandez trying for goal, and it's a lovely finish. A worldie for Hernandez, and it's 4 for Chattanooga. Omar Hernandez adds the final high point on the ultimate party in Chattanooga tonight. Just lashes at this and picks out the top left corner with expertise. It is a goal of upper echelon quality, and there is no chance for Filione. It is all Chattanooga, and the horrors for Richmond on this ground continue. A 4th goal of the year for Omar Hernandez, and it may just be the pick of the lot. A stunner on 58 minutes, and it effectively wraps it up. Omar Hernandez, native of Dalton, Georgia, who made a name for himself at Mercer University after 4 years at Wake, in which he played a key role for the Demon Deacons. Signed his first pro contract ahead of the 2024 season and endured an up and down rookie campaign, but last year, a colossal breakout. 7 goals across all competitions, announced himself as a set-piece mastermind, and he's already scored 4 this year in league play. He's 2 off, matching his league tally from a season ago. He's enjoyed a rapid rise throughout the last year and a half of his professional career.
Gatorade is the official sports drink of the Chattanooga Red Wolves.
Triple change now for Richmond as they pursue an avenue back into this. Daniel Moore's one of them. Here's O'Malley. Moore wrestling for it and cleared away. Landon Johnson in for Majid Murana. And Austin Amer is in for Ali Sasanka. So Moore, Amer, and Johnson all in. Sasanka, Kirkland, and Murana all out. At this point, Darren Sawatsky is seeking any solution possible to their ongoing Chattanooga problem. Gomez. Mensah clipped at the heels, and the yellow card immediately out. Sam Layton, the latest in the book for Richmond. There's some frustration in that challenge for sure. Gets none of the ball. It is reckless. And another free kick for Chattanooga. And at this point, for Richmond, it's just about avoiding utter humiliation away from home. It does not seem there's a realistic avenue back into this as things stand. Chattanooga themselves are preparing 2 changes, and now they make them. Omar Gomez replaced by Pedro Hernandez. Meanwhile, Toby Adewole also exits. It is Christian Engman who replaces him in the heart of defense. And Scott McKenzie can test his depth now. You wonder now if that means Omar Hernandez moves into the heart of midfield. Pedro Hernandez is an out-and-out frontline player. There's Acosta, who is the most likely candidate to take this free kick. Drives it goalward. Skimmed away by Hayden Anderson. Now back into the mix. Ramos, who's back on the field after the earlier injury scare. Hernandez pulls kindly for Filion. Hernandez scored the best goal of the lot for Chattanooga moments ago. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Set piece for Richmond now as they look to make the first dent in this seemingly insurmountable Chattanooga advantage. Arcs in. Iambila gets ahead to it. Amer. Espinal. Rounds Leline. Penalty area. Runs out of real estate, and it is just a goal kick.
Concessions brought to you tonight by Pepsi. Thirsty for more with Pepsi. Pepsi is the exclusive beverage partner of the Chattanooga Red Wolves.
He is enjoying quite the performance as things stand. He's mentioned the need for competitive feedback. I think they've gotten some very positive competitive feedback tonight. And it is proof that the system still works, and maybe it may thrive better than ever as the year progresses. Spoke about earlier in the year, some teams have been willingly ceding possession at Chattanooga to try and force them to break teams down. And early on, they've fallen behind in a few fixtures, which has actually forced them to be the protagonist more. Speaks about dominating matches in the wrong way. Tonight, they've done it the right way, as Mensah just narrowly misses wide. Why not have a crack? Everything's going their way, and he does not miss this by much. Just skims wide of the near post. And it was nearly a fifth to cap a five-star performance. They could have it here. Ramos. Leline. Moore, listed fullback, who's been deployed very far forward for Richmond. Iambila. The whistle sounds for the challenge on Hernandez. Neil Soyfert, the penalized party. Ticking towards the final 20 minutes. And at 4-0, Chattanooga still looks the more likely to score. Ramos. Anderson shrugs him off it. Leline. Bentley. Wanted Ramos on the back heel. Goes down far too easy for our referee's liking. Acosta. Known for his consistent running ability. Never runs out of stamina, and I think this may cause the referee to brandish another card. Frustration starting to sink in for Richmond now. You see O'Malley loses the foot race. I think he's arguing that the tug from Acosta should have yielded the whistle his way. Levine. Ramos has a pop, headed over by Vinberg. Another corner for Chattanooga. Richmond preparing their final change of the day. Will be the fullback Hayden Anderson who makes way. Beckett Howell is getting set to replace him. Like for like substitution at left back. Another corner kick presented by Pepsi. Of all of the ways Chattanooga have scored, a corner not one of them yet. Costa looks to change that. Not the best of deliveries. Kinsner. Keeps it in play for Chattanooga. Ramos flips across to the back post, just headed wide and took a touch on the way. Free header for Mensah, and he thought he had just made it 5. Terrific placement from Ramos, and Mensah unattended in the box. If not for that slight touch off the Richmond defender, it's 5-0. Pepsi corner kicks start to mount. Another in-swinger. Kinsner heads it across goal. Leighton with a chance to clear. Richmond will make that final change now. Hayden Anderson for Beckett Howell. Howell, another one of those prominent youth products that have come through the Richmond United ranks and worked their way into a full-time professional contract with Richmond Kickers. James Sneddon is, of course, the other headliner. Landon Johnson has made his way through the local fold as well. And so it is Beckett Howell, the 21-year-old, who will replace Hayden Anderson here. Regular starter for spells a year ago, but the signing of Anderson has moved him back into a reserve role, at least throughout the opening 2.5 months. There's a long throw from Omar Hernandez, this time just a goal kick. Fans, you can enter the Prince Tires USL Cup Game Day Kit sweepstakes for your chance to win a prize pack worth up to $2,000. Scan the QR code on screen and enter today. Bentley. Just a few footsteps behind that. Double change now for Chattanooga. It is Grayson Mercer and Aaron Lombardi in. And a loud applause for Omar Hernandez, who has scored an instant goal of the week contender. He vacates, as does Jordan Iambila. Hernandez and Iambila off, Mercer and Lombardi on. And Aaron Lombardi will undoubtedly fill in that wing-back role. You know, Grayson Mercer is somebody that Scott McKenzie is incredibly high on. A physical number 9, big and strong, was nicknamed Beast during his time with Park City Red Wolves, which is Chattanooga's USL League Two affiliate. One of their multiple USL League Two affiliates, that is. Still waiting to sub on Mercer as things stand. Lombardi is back out there, his 5th league appearance of the year. He returned from a 4-match absence on Saturday against Omaha. Cross in from Johnson. Pressured out of play by Leline for a corner. And the only thing up for jeopardy now appears to be the Chattanooga clean sheet. They are one of the only teams without a clean sheet this year in league play. Seufert away at the near post from Leline. Now he arcs it in again, and Lombardi heads behind. Mercer is on the pitch. Physical, proper number 9 replaces Iambila. Another Pepsi corner kick for Richmond. In swinger. Put away at the back stick this time. Just a goal kick. Fantasy football is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. And football is free to play. Download now. Dying embers of this one. Chattanooga Red Wolves on the verge of making a colossal statement in a major litmus test against Richmond Kickers tonight. A squad that began the evening 3 points off the top 8 in Richmond, had won 3 straight league matches and was really starting to find its rhythm. Many felt that Charleston match in the Prinks Cup was more of an aberration than anything. Darren Sawatsky saying he felt in that one his lads didn't come in up for it because they dropped their opening Prinks Cup match and effectively knew their fate from there on out. Here tonight, it's not like Richmond hasn't been up for it. They've had their moments. The issue has been that they've not handled the conditions as well as their hosts have. And Chattanooga has been the far better. They have another chance here, and Engman just heads over. Chance to make it 5 for the 24-year-old out of San Diego State University. Could have been a big moment for the lad on a 25-day contract. Got free, but skewed off his head all wrong. Pedro Hernandez. Mercer continues his run. Back post, Lombardi. Mercer on for Mensah. Mercer expected it to travel a touch further. Instead, it froze in the puddle. Acosta. Mensah chasing in behind. Chattanooga with their eyes on 5. Mensah dispossessed at the 11th hour. It is a corner. It's already the joint most goals Chattanooga scored in a match. would be their biggest margin of victory if they see this out. It would be a second league match with 4 goals in the last 3 league games. And for all of the talk about the inconsistencies going forward to open the year, these performances would put a lot of that on the back burner. It's a squad that still finds a way to score enough goals despite its defense-first approach. Another Pepsi corner kick. Layton got there first. Fell nicely there for Lombardi. Acosta. Another cross in. Mercer clattered into the goalkeeper. If Chattanooga can find a 5th, it would be the most league goals they've scored in a match since September of 2023. That was a 5-3 victory over Lexington SC in the Barrel Brawl. Have scored 4 goals on a number of occasions since that date. Not hit the 5 mark in league play in nearly 3 years. That is a perfect indication on what the conditions have been like tonight. Where Papa Mensa playing 80 minutes, scoring a goal, and getting drenched by all of the accumulated rainwater. They squeegee the pitch at halftime. It's made it more playable, and credit to the grounds crew for keeping this in playable condition. Ultimately, I'm sure Chattanooga will be the most grateful of everyone, because this being a playable surface has allowed them to cruise to a dominant victory that they've so desperately craved. The win over Sarasota, a good one, but this is more of a statement. Bentley. Mensa's offside. The USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Final 10 minutes in this one, and it is the final chapter of what should be a monstrous Chattanooga victory. It would be a 9th victory in 11 meetings at CHI Memorial Stadium against Richmond Kickers. It would continue their unbeaten run against Richmond. And deja vu all over again for Kickers fans watching from home. Pedro Hernandez, a low cross in, across the base, and a 5th for Chattanooga. A brace for Mensa, and Chattanooga Red Wolves have completed a complete onslaught here. (5-0) Chattanooga. It's another cross in. It's another teasing ball that Richmond doesn't deal with, and all Mensa has to do is tap it in. No league goals entering the night. A pair of league tallies to his name at its conclusion, and still has 9 minutes to pursue the hat trick. It is the most goals Chattanooga has scored in a match since 2023. And they have deserved every bit of this based on their performance. After a season in which he endured his ups and downs with Greenville, never really got going until the final months of the regular season, many wondered if he could replicate his heroics with Chattanooga, and he has done that. here tonight. A performance that reminds the fans of what he can provide up top. If this holds, it's their most goals since 2023. It would be their biggest margin of victory since a 7-1 throttling of Charlotte Independence in June of 2022. They are flirting with completely rewriting club history books if they can pile on a couple more. Bentley, he has a goal to his name. Amer breaks up the play. Acosta, Lombardi. Slithers through traffic and fouled along the way. It's not his dream night. He mentioned coming in, wanting to play their football, handle the counterattacks in the route run play, and unfortunately for him and his side, they just have not done that. And you can talk about the conditions all you'd like. That will certainly be a factor in the post-mortem of this when he analyzes it. And ultimately as well, they lacked the ability to clear in the key moments and were picked apart as a result. That is routine for Smith. We're hearing word that Mensa is about to make way to presumably what will be a large applause from the Chattanooga faithful. Nathan Donoho, the academy product, to replace him. Another chance brewing. Hernandez, Mercer knocked it off his own teammate, and a sixth goes by the wayside. The other way, coming together between O'Malley and Ramos. It's just a question of which way the referee calls this. Yellow card given to Darren Sawatsky, and I think that personifies the frustration he's experienced on the touchline. Whistle sounding against his lad O'Malley, and he makes his displeasure felt. 5 minutes to go. It appears to be a question of how many Chattanooga will score rather than anything else. It's never a bad sign when you log a performance that reminds fans of the year you reached the USL League One final. That's what they've done tonight. This is their largest margin of victory since June of 2022, a season in which they finished fourth and reached the final. Fell in heartbreaking fashion against South Georgia in that one. After a season last year where they would have had title aspirations entering the playoffs and saw them dashed in heartbreaking manner themselves against Portland last year. It seems the mission is clear once again this year: redemption. Donoho has replaced Mensa up top. Native of Oman, who joined the club on an academy deal. Made his debut in the Prince Cup opener against Corpus Christi on April 25th. It's his first league cameo. Mercer. He had an opportunity to make it 6 moments ago. And one more corner before all is sealed. Another Pepsi corner kick. Dylan Lombardi has a decent left boot in scenarios like these. Another in-swinger, near post this time. Back to Lombardi. Has a chance to ask further questions. We will run it back from the opposite flank. It is a never-ending onslaught for Chattanooga Red Wolves as things stand. With this result, they would climb to 10th in the table, just 3 points beneath AV Alta. Their goal difference would go from 0 to 5 in one fell swoop. Here's a fixture in which they entered the night knowing it could fall 9 points out of the conversation by the end of the weekend if all broke wrong. By weekend's end, they could find themselves level with the top 8 if they get a result Saturday. Lombardi. Lost it in the puddle. Moore is fouled. Final minute of the initial 90. Richmond looking for consolation now. Bentley. Donoho. Moore. Howell away. Moore chasing. This is Matt Acosta, who's run relentlessly throughout the full 90, as he always does. What a diamond in the rough he's become for Chattanooga. Discovered last summer and has emerged as a regular. Donoho across! Runs all the way through to Pedro Hernandez. Chance not lost yet. Bentley, it's still loose. Mercer finally away. Chattanooga threatening for a 6th. They have not taken their foot off the gas for one moment. Flick on header now. Lombardi with options. Chipped ball towards Mercer. Bentley commits the foul and the chance ultimately goes by the wayside, but Grayson Mercer, multiple opportunities to tack on another. Donoho in the center of it. This just runs all the way across the face. You see Pedro Hernandez does well to keep it alive. And Acosta there to snatch it right back. Soyford. This is one of Richmond's final chances to end the night on the score sheet and take a semblance of pride with them back to Richmond. Instead, Mercer looking for the final nail and tugged down. Barnathan almost certainly will enter the book. And the referee, with no hesitation, has the yellow card out. Just tugs the kid, and Mercer knows he has him for pace and has inside position. No protest when the yellow came out. Lombardi with one final chance to tack on more damage. Comes out to the edge of the area. Leline drives it goalward, over the bar this time. Guess they can't all come off kindly. This the most goals that Chattanooga has scored in this fixture. Their previous high was 3. It would be the most dominant victory by either side in this fixture that dates back to the league's inaugural season. Throughout Richmond's 3-decade-plus continuous history, this would be one of the defeats they'd like to forget. Pedro Hernandez arcs this in at Donoho. Lombardi. One final corner before all is said and done. And instead, the full-time whistle sounds. It is pure domination from opening whistle to final whistle from Chattanooga Red Wolves. They take advantage of one of their 3 games in hand on their competition for the top 8, and they obliterate Richmond Kickers 5-0. Chattanooga continues their dominance over Richmond at this venue. 4 different goal scorers and 5 goals to boot. Chattanooga completely in control from the 5th minute on. It's now time for our man of the match, which is presented by Riverside Beverage, and it is Ropapa Mensah who bagged a brace. The opening goal and the 5th goal to finish things off for Chattanooga and open his league account. He is thriving again with the Chattanooga Red Wolf badge on his chest. It finishes with Chattanooga 5-0 to the good. We will step aside briefly from CHI Memorial Stadium, and when we return, a look back at the 90 minutes that just transpired. Stick with us. We welcome you back to Chattanooga, where it is a complete party. After 90 minutes, the Red Wolves dominate Richmond Kickers by a 5-0 scoreline. Omar Hernandez, one of the stars of the show. His worldie made it 4-0, also a key role in the opener. And it's time to get a look at our full-time highlights, which are brought to you by CHI Memorial. 5 different goals, 4 different goal scorers for Chattanooga, and it started quickly. Ropapa Mensah getting on the score sheet after just 5 minutes. The long throw from Omar Hernandez ultimately wrestles its way through and then just tapped home by Mensah. Finds the top corner, no chance for Filione, and that opened the floodgates, and the floodgates never closed after that. 5 minutes later, Kinsner, after a dead ball situation, it's an errant header from Dakota Barnathan. It slips in Omar Gomez, who finishes, and after 10 minutes, Chattanooga was already soaring. From there, they see things out to halftime, and 3 minutes after the restart, Matt Bentley gets in on the party against his former club. For the second consecutive match against the Kickers, he just weaves through traffic, and it is a terrific effort that he just darts beyond the goalkeeper Filione. On 58 minutes, Omar Hernandez capped off the final, one of the final exclamation points just a worldie off his back foot. Picks out the top corner. The best goal of the lot. That's our play of the match presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. And one final goal inside the final 10 minutes to wrap things up. There were more after this, but you see Pedro Hernandez here streak to the byline, adds a third league assist to his ledger as it just rolls through to Mensah, who taps it home, switches it to the opposite corner. No chance for Filione. And from there, it was a fifth. The most goals Chattanooga scored since 2023, and it comes in a performance that is arguably their most dominant of the lot this season. 5 goals to their name, a 24-12 shot advantage, doubling them up in shots on goal, and they do it with more possession. All in all, they take advantage of the adverse conditions. Richmond just never looked up for it, and they fall as a result. And that is where things will finish here from CHI Memorial Stadium. 5 goals for Chattanooga, their highest tally since 2023, and they climb within 3 points of the playoff line. For our terrific crew, I'm Sam Goldfarb, saying so long from Chattanooga, where the Red Wolves obliterate Richmond by a scoreline of 5-0. Have a great rest of your night, everyone. From Chattanooga, signing off.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.